we have really good point guard play. Point guards do touch it more than the other positions. So a lot of the decision making starts with them. And look, it's early. I don't want to jinx us. We want to continue. But Orlando they're forcing 16, 18 turnovers a game, so we're going to have to be really good in that area.
What kind of value do you see in the possession game? And you talked a lot about the offensive rebounds that particularly having more possession with the other team, how turnovers play into that. I feel like that's a trend of the NBA now. What kind of value do you put in that kind of game?
It doesn't really matter what sport you're talking about. Possession of the ball is going to carry the day in most cases. It's probably most pronounced in football. But if you look at turnovers and rebounding in the NBA, those totals will go a long way toward telling you what the outcome of the game is going to be.
What did you make of Myles' fourth quarter Tuesday against a team that he's historically struggled against to have that kind of performance down the stretch?
I don't look back. I look ahead. So I'm struggling a little bit with these questions from 5 days ago.
Sorry.
But we just keep playing. We keep playing. We keep executing. That's how we approach it. And 48-minute game is a long game. In Myles' case, the other night, got taken out of early with fouls. Doesn't mean there's not 12 minutes in the last quarter to keep playing. So he did, and a lot of great things happened.
Just watching, it feels like he's playing with more confidence this season. How do you make sure he carries that forward and keeps playing at this level?
Myles is a good player. He had a career year last year and is off to a great start this year. He just needs to do his job. He needs to run the floor. He needs to be on the rim. He needs to crash when it's his job to crash. And when there's open shots, don't think twice. Just step into them.
Orlando's pretty big. You just talked about how they force turnovers. What do you think of that team in general? What will be important for you guys tomorrow?
Well, very aggressive, hard-playing team. They force a lot of turnovers and they get a lot of offensive rebounds. So doing our job to equalize the possession game or try to win the possession game is going to be big. We're sitting on 4.5 days here. So we've had good practices. But off an emotional win, there's probably going to be some challenges. And they're red hot. They're coming off 3 straight wins. They won twice in a row in Chicago. So they're a team that's in a groove right now.
Would you like having the extra practices, or would you prefer to kind of keep game rhythm rolling?
Whatever the schedule says.
Are there any pros and cons to having extra rest?
It happens whenever the schedule says it happens.
Yeah.
And if you have guys that are dinged up, it gives them a chance to heal up. It helped Jalen Smith a little bit the last few days. You take it for what it is. You don't want to over-practice, but you can't under-practice either. And you got to do the appropriate amount of hard work and the appropriate amount of resting and clearing our heads.
How's Bruce doing? Saw they had a brace on his leg.
Good. He had bruise,
Okay.
but he hasn't missed any practice.
Good.
Anybody else banged up this week or expected?
Nimhard's banged up. So he'll be out tomorrow.
Any long-term scare there, or just short-term day-to-day?
I'm not going to give you a timetable.
Sure.
He's got a sore lower back, so he'll be out tomorrow, and then after that we'll see.
There's a lot of frustrating stuff, a lot of thoughts going through your head, but just maturity, just being around this league, that 4 quarters of basketball, and just allow myself to go out there and finish the game, positive mindset.
Anything specific in the game get you pumped for that stretch? Did you see any other openings? What kind of changed for you to have 15 or 17?
Just wanted to win, bro. Honestly, just wanted to win at the end of the day. We knew it was an important game. It's crunch time, and that's when I think the big time guys stepped up and was able to, make something happen.
That team and that matchup's been maybe your kryptonite your whole career. Does that mean any more to you to have that kind of moment against them on the road?
I mean, kryptonite's that's a tough way to look at it.
Sure,
I think that it's one of those games where it's a little bit tough for me. Spend a lot of time in foul trouble in a sense, but it just meant everything to get the win. So that's all I really care about. Everything else, all the other talk.
For lack of a better term, it looks like you're playing with more confidence all season. Do you feel that way when you're out there?
Yeah. I think it's just carrying over just some of the success I had last season and just trying to improve upon it. That's always the goal.
Did it add to it having the offseason you had? You could focus on your game, no more anything over your head, and you've carried that into the season through 11 now? Yeah,
just knowing where you're going to be in a sense, not having a good foundation for what this year was going to be, in a sense, just being steady, being in my spots, and just knowing I was going to be here in Indy. That was big for me as well.
Is there anything to carrying confidence forward, or is it just do what you do your whole career to get to the point you're at?
You just said it. Just go out there and just perform. You work all off season. You work every day there in practice to get to where you're at, and just when you're in the game, it just be natural, free flowing.
What have you thought about what Ty's done, his stats these last couple games to push you guys forward?
I'm not surprised by any means. I think this is the type of player Ty is. I think that he's been able to start the season, starting himself as opposed to being a surprise that he was last year in a sense. So he's the best point guard in the East. Arguably the best point guard in the NBA, and he's the numbers are there to show.
How natural of a partnership do you feel like you guys have now that you've had? Gosh, it's a year and a half together now.
Yeah, he makes it easy. And I think it's just reading him, watching his film, just knowing where he likes to pass the ball, knowing where I need to be. It's just a synergy you can create with another person. Just easy and free flowing, and we have all this time together.
What'll it feel like going against Goga tomorrow?
Well, first of all, I'm happy for Goga. I'm glad he's carved himself out of the niche. I think he works tremendously hard while he was here. Even when he wasn't getting the reps during games, he was here after every single game, lifting or getting his shots up. So, the moment's his. He worked to get to where he's at. But just looking forward to the match as well. Just see if another face, but just more than anything, just happy for him.
Yeah, these 4 days you guys have had off in between games. How has that been positive, negative? You like with that, or do you like having more games when you're able?
It's a double-edged sword because you'll take the rest anytime you get it, but then you want to have it getting that routine, that consistency of playing the games and whatnot. So, we'll definitely have our I'm sure we'll make up for it somewhere in the schedule. But we'll get back to it pretty soon.
Thoughts on Orlando and the matchup you guys have against them tomorrow?
They're definitely a competing team. They're another younger team here in the East that they want what the same thing we want. Essentially, want to be one of those top 5 seeds out there. So it's going to be definitely be a dogfight. Those guys are long. We got some talented players, but we believe in our depth and believe in our style of play. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, not to backtrack too much, but that Philly game, you talked on Twitter about how mental toughness and the Philly environment. Just talk about that environment. Maybe was there anything that people were saying to you while you were sitting on the bench waiting to come back in?
Man, I wish I could repeat it on camera. They were definitely saying some things. Me a few years ago probably would have flicked off the crowd, but I kind of just allowed it to fuel me in a sense. And honestly, it's one of the best arenas to play in because it's so loud, it's ruckus, and those guys. They care. Like if Philly's getting blown out, they're gonna boo Philly. If we're up, they're gonna boo us. So it's one of those environments where you kind of dream about being on the road and whatnot, as far as those hostile environments, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
Top of your group in the in-season tournament, you've talked about how you feel about it, but do you ever look at those standings or look at scenarios for your 2 games this week in terms of what that could mean for you in that bracket?
It's hard to do that. You can't really get to those hypotheticals. You got to take this stuff game by game. You just have to. You can try to, be a hopeful and hope this person loses this and that, but maybe you go out there and you win, take care of business, it takes care of everything. So you don't try to look at it too much like that because you still have a big picture of the season to play.
Speaking of the in-season tournament, only having one nationally televised game, that gives you an opportunity to maybe get some more national recognition for this team. Does that kind of motivate you guys as well, besides just winning games, taking care of business? Or
for someone who's been here as long as I have, when we start winning games, they're gonna pick up national TV games here and there. Once we take care of our business, everybody else will see. But it's exciting for, I think, fans to be able to see our style of basketball as opposed to hear about it. You know what I mean? So, giving a chance to get that exposure in a big in a big environment like that would be nice, for the city and nice for organization and whatnot. But we don't really. I guess it's kind of hard for us just to, hope and pray for nationally televised games, just knowing, what situation it is.
Yeah, and then how has your on-court chemistry kind of developed with Obi Toppin this season so far?
It's been good, man. I think Obi, he presents a lot of challenges for the teams because he's so fast, up and down the floor. When he rolls, I'm able to pop, and vice versa. He's able to take the ball out, post up smaller guys as well, so I can mix things up inside out. He's on the glass. He definitely makes life a little bit easier.